Assalamualaikum students, this is science teacher Ms. Fatma. In today's video lecture, we are going to continue this chapter, that is chapter number 11. It is about the effect of heat energy. Today the topic which we are going to study is about the thermal expansion and contraction of liquids. In the last video lecture, we have studied about the thermal expansion and contraction of the solid, in which we have discussed the example of the bimetallic strip, and how the bimetallic strip expands and contracts when it gets heat or get cool respectively. Now, as we have discussed that all the three states of matter, whether it's solid, liquid or gas, all these three states of matter do expand, and they expand at their different rates depending upon their coefficient of thermal linear expansion, right? uh, for today's topic, we are going to discuss about the thermal expansion contraction of liquid. As it is also a state of matter, so liquid also expands and contracts. When we are going to heat the liquid is going to expand. Why it is going to expand? Because when we are going to heat liquid, there would be more kinetic energy and there would be more motion of their molecule within it, which will actually increases few millimeters or few centimeters rise in the level of water. To experience this or to prove this fact, there is an experiment which can actually prove that the liquid expand when it get heated, right? For this experiment, what you need to have a round bottom flask. Why a round bottom flask? Because round bottom flask actually facilitate you to heat it from the bottom. Or take a round bottom flask and fill it with some liquid, and this liquid must be having some color, because the color will actually facilitate you to see the rise up of water and rise down of water very clearly. In normal condition, as you can see, what they have done, they have taken a round bottom flask and fill it with the colored water, and then they have passed a test tube which is open at the both ends, from the lower end and from the upper end. From the both end it is opened, and this test tube is fitted in the rubber plug on the mouth of the flask tightly, so that no water or no air can actually escape from this mouth. The only thing that which can rise and fall is from this capillary tube, right? After that, uh, note the level of the water which is in this normal condition. In this normal condition, if it says that the level of water is at this place, right, in the original state, when you haven't heated or cooled the water, right, when you are going to heat it, first the level of the water is initially going to drop. Why? Because this round bottom flask is made of a solid material, that is glass, and first the heat will get in contact with the glass and it will expand. When the solid will expand, it will make more space for liquid to get itself adjusted, right? And then when the heat is going to get transferred in the liquid, then this liquid is going to rise. So this experiment actually proves that there is always a thermal expansion in liquids. Alright. Now, when we talk about the thermal contraction and expansion in gas, here we have talked about the thermal expansion, but what about the contraction? There is a word called anomalous behavior of water. And what is the anomalous behavior of water? It is the property of a water like which we drink, that is H2O, the water that we drink. The property of a water is that between the temperature from 0 degree to 4 degrees centigrade.
In 0 to 4 degrees centigrade, what actually happens is, when we are going to actually heat the water, right, when we are going to melt the ice from 0 to 4 degrees centigrade, instead of expanding, here the water get contracts, right, and its minimum volume is at 4 degrees centigrade. Why it happens is, It is a result of the hydrogen bond that present in the water molecule. When water is transformed from 0 degree Celsius, the water molecules are in crystal lattice and structure that has a lot of empty spaces around each molecule. When we heat, the ice is transformed again to the liquid and the volume of the water decreases. And this anomalous behavior of the water actually allows the marine life to stay alive underneath the frozen lake and ponds.
We have discussed previously about the expansion in solid and expansion in liquid. Now we are going to discuss about the thermal expansion in gases. The gas also expand when it get heats and get contract when we are going to cool it down. Right? The expansion of gas is much greater than solid and liquid. Right? If they are of the same value. The reason of it is because the molecule of the gas get really excited when you're going to slightly heat it up as compared to solid and liquid, because the gas molecules are freely moving. They are not like bounded together as like liquid and solid. Fine. So to demonstrate this, there is a small experiment that you can do to explain the concept or to get the concept that how the actually gas expands. Here what you need to have a round bottom flask, a capillary tube, a cork to fix its mouth, the trap, a stand, an iron stand, a beaker, and the water. Right. In this experiment, what you are going to do, you are going to uh, rub the flask from the upper surface. The heat which is produced from your hand are going to are going to transfer in this flask, and the air inside this flask, it is a gas, right? And the air inside this flask, the molecule of the air are going to be excited, and there would be more kinetic energy due to the heat energy that we are producing from our hand, and which results in the bubble in this water. We are going to produce the heat from our hand. This heat is going to get transferred in this round bottom flask, and the volume of air is going to expand, and which result in the bubbles that you can see in your book like here. These bubbles are due to the expansion of gas in this flask, which are trying to get their way out through this capillary tube into the water. Right. So this is the small experiment proves that the gas also expand when it gets heat, and we are going to cool it down. When you're going to solidify it, these are going to become contracted. All right. Now coming towards the next topic, that is about the effect of expansion and contraction in our daily life. The contraction and the expansion of the different things actually affects our daily life. It is like a two-edged sword. On the one hand, if it provides us a few benefits, so on the other hand, it provides few and it creates few difficulties for ourselves, right? The expansion and the contraction of objects have given the rise to the variety of problems in our daily life. Although the expansion and the contraction may be very little and very small, but the effect or the force produced through this expansion and the contraction are very large scale, right? And this force can actually cause the damage and can create the problem. So the first problem that we are going to discuss about it. So the first problem is that engineers and scientists have to overcome is about the concrete roads or the path surface. As you all know that the concrete road or the path surface always expands, right? Because when there is a continuous flow of the vehicle on the path road or on the surface of the concrete, it's a solid and it will expand. And due to that expansion, what happens? It makes few cracks on the road because no space is left between the road, which actually allow the solid to expand. To overcome this problem, what they did, they actually made like this. They actually made the sections of the road, like when you cross a bridge, and when you are on the vehicle, when you cross a bridge, you can feel a little jerk, and after few meters, why this jerk is, and what is actually the reason behind this jerk? The reason behind this jerk is these metal plates. These metal plates are actually the connecting metal plates which connects the two concrete blocks. And why it is necessary? These metal plates are actually some space between them, which actually allows the expansion and the contraction of the concrete, expansion in summers and the contraction in winters, and which prevents the cracking of the road surface. So to overcome this problem, what they have done, they have given the expansion gap between the two concrete blocks. So if it needs to get expand, it can all actually get expand and fill this space, and if you need to get contract, then it can easily get contracted and fill this space. All right, so the next problem that is about the railway tracks. What happens in railway tracks, like when a rail when a train is going to move continuously on a railway track like this, it is a solid, and due to the heat energy it is going to expand. And if it's a 1 unit of rail track, what will happen? It will cause the bulking in the railway track, and due to that bulking, what actually happens? The train actually get derailed, जिसको बोलते हैं ना कि पटरी से होता है कि ट्रेन, that actually happens. And to fix this problem, what the engineers and scientists have done, they have made the sections of the railway track, and these sections are actually joined with the, which actually allows the expansion between the gap. All right, so can you see the expansion here, and can you see these rivets are joining these two rail track section? The reason of having such section is it will allow and it will give the allowance for the rail track to get expand and to get contract, expand in winters and can contract in expand in summers and get contract in winters. All right, now the next one is of bridges. The long bridges which are having steel and big concrete bridges. Like if you have traveled in the train from the Sakharoli and that part, you must have experienced a long concrete and steel made bridge, right? So in these bridges, there's also an allowance for the expansion and contraction due to the climate change. To have the allowance or uh, to save the whole bridge from getting destroyed or getting destructed, what they do is they fix small rollers. The one end of the bridge is fixed and the other end of the bridge is on the sliding roller, which actually allow the expansion and the contraction of that bridge. Now the next problem that was of about the overhead powers and telephone lines. When you go on the long routes, you must have seen these swinging long electricity wires. Why the wires are in swing? Why not straight? There could be, they can save their wire and they can make the straight connection. But if they are going to make one straight fixed connection in hot days, when they want to get expanded, when the wire want to get expanded due to heat, it won't be allowed. And in the summer, when it want to get contracted, it won't be allowed. As the result, what will happen? The wire will get break. So to fix this problem, to overcome this problem, allowance is made, a swing is made between the end, so that it actually allow the wire to expand and contract in summer and winters respectively. Another problem that they have discussed about the pipes of carrying the liquid and the gases. As I have already mentioned that the liquid and the gases also expand. So when we talk about the gas pipelines are carpeted for kilometers and kilometers long, and these are directly exposed to the sunlight, which will actually excites the molecule of the gas and needs more space to expand itself. For that purpose, the bend allows the pipes to expand and the contract without getting any crack. Now if we talk about another problem that happens in class, if you have ever poured a boiling hot water in a class, if you have ever experienced about this, what will happen? The glass will actually get cracked because of the uneven expansion of the glass. To overcome this problem, most of the glassware which are found in the laboratory, are made from the Pyrex glass. Right? This is not an ordinary glass. This glass actually have very little expansion when it get heated. Another problem that happens in the pendulum clock, another problem that we're going to discuss is of the pendulum clock. In the pendulum clock, what happens is the pendulum clocks are actually used to measure the time, right? But the accuracy of the time get affected when uh, when there is a change in the surrounding temperature, whether it's a hot temperature or the cold temperature. In hot temperature, the material in this pendulum clock get expands, and in the winters it get contracts. So it actually affects the used to affect the time. So to overcome this problem, what the scientists and the engineers have done, they have used two types of material. One is brass and one is iron, as we have previously discussed in the biometallic strip about the combination of the iron and the brass. The ratio length of iron and brass is 2:3. So this combination actually helps the simple pendulum clock to calculate the automated time very accurately, because this expansion of 2:3 ratio actually balance out the measurement of time. Oh, thank you so much, class. If you have any query, you can ask me. Thank you so much. Stay home, stay safe.